Hello everyone. Welcome back to Reddit Night, your favorite Reddit reading channel. Today we are back on our /askreddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What is the absolute stupidest propaganda you have ever heard? There's a politician that was accused of witchcraft a few years ago. I remember seeing an anti-train flyer from like the 1800s, said something like God didn't intend man to go faster than 20 miles per hour. Or something along those lines. Alkaline water is healthy for you, so better go buy some. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote because the stress of voting would cause them to become infertile. The first clinical report on ketamine was published in 1966. Not only is it a weird one, it's also a remarkably safe anesthetic. So much so that we give it to little children. Modern science just recently could admit that there is indication that it seems to be a highly effective antidepressant that is also neurogenerative already at the first dose. Indication. Half a century after we started using it. Intriguing. Similar situations with MUA, psilocybin and most psychedelics. Yet I still am not allowed to pick own Liberty Caps. There is a years-long fight to get medical marijuana at €500 a month even if I'd be literally dying of cancer, and all modern science in my country can say about it is we don't know the full effects yet. But, 2 highly dangerous generations of antidepressants, and a third where suicidal thoughts for 1.5 months is a perfectly normal side effect and a sign that they're working, those were perfectly fine side effects. Mental health is an issue, I freaking wonder why. The spork is the devil's utensil because it is the amalgamation of the masculine fork and the feminine spoon and is trying to blur gender lines in society. Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il have some pretty funny stories. Allegedly. Kim Jong-il tried golf for the first time and finished with 11 holes in one to achieve a 38 under par game on a championship 18-hole golf course. Reports say each of his 17 bodyguards verified the record-breaking feat. He then decided to retire from the sport forever. Kim Jong-il has never urinated or defecated. North Korea is the second happiest country behind China, according to North Korean researchers. The United States is dead last. Legend has it that a double rainbow and a glowing new star appeared in the heavens to herald the birth of Kim Jong-il. Official records reportedly show that Kim Jong-il learned to walk at the age of 3 weeks, and was talking at 8 weeks. While at Kim Il-sung University, he apparently wrote 1,500 books over a period of 3 years, along with 6 full operas. According to his official biography, all of his operas are better than any in the history of music. Everyone detests working from home so much and absolutely cannot wait to go back to the office full time. Perpetrated by banks who are shitting themselves that commercial real estate might fall apart. I read this story in various forms in Canada 2 to 3 times a month. I have not met any of these people yet, virtually or otherwise. I'm from the Philippines. One of the bloodiest periods in our contemporary history was when former President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law for nearly 2 decades and used a pretense of fighting communist elements and lawlessness to crack down hard on dissent while simultaneously stealing billions from the country's coffers. It's been well documented both by local and international investigating bodies that the Marcos family and their cronies committed atrocious human rights violations, e.g., murder, rape, torture, against not only political opponents, but basically anyone who disagreed with their terribly corrupt governance or anyone they just wanted killed for some reason. The plunder of billions of dollars worth of state funds were also well documented. Now the son, Marcos Jr., is running for president in 2022 and has a strong chance of winning because a lot of people have been indoctrinated that martial law was some kind of golden age. They've been taught by propagandists that the huge national debt we've been paying off for decades was because of infrastructure projects during the elder Marcos time, which is actually partially true, although those projects were intentionally commissioned during martial law to gain FM credit while leaving future presidents to worry about the consequences of so much debt. Not to mention the billions that the Marcos family, including Marcos Jr., has been confirmed to have funneled into personal bank accounts and benefited from all these years. Most despicably, the murders and rapes committed by Marcos henchmen all those years ago are being dismissed by these brainwashed modern-day Marcos loyalists as being morally acceptable because, they claim, only rebels and communists were killed. Never mind the dozens of confirmed cases of innocent people, mostly youths and activists, being kidnapped, sexually abused, then tortured and/or murdered because they dared to criticize the government or simply because some of the Marcos goons found them attractive. How do these duped loyalists explain the luxury enjoyed by the Marcos family until today, even after being forced into exile during the People Power Revolution in the 80s? Apparently the Marcoses possess 400,000 metric tons of gold given to FM as payment for his services as a lawyer before becoming president. Never mind, that's more gold than exists in the entire world. The biggest reason people cling to this propaganda of the Marcos family themselves being victims of propaganda is the lack of martial law education in our basic school curriculum, as well as the fact that even after martial law, corruption remained rampant in government. So much so that people eventually came up with the idea that the Marcoses' sins were fabricated both by the opposing political families in the country which gained power after ML, as well as their supposed allies in the US, which is a little ironic as it was also known that CIA and US executive elements have had dealings with Marcos and did nothing about the human rights violations and the plunder. While it is true that all presidents after Ferdinand Marcos also had, without exception, cases of corruption in their cabinets, it's really inexplicable that people would choose to disregard history and even consider to elect again to highest office a member of the family which has been proven beyond doubt to be murderers and thieves, in the process believing in so many crazy lies and propaganda about the Marcos family that this overlong Reddit has barely even scratched the surface. Good luck, Philippines. Back when I lived in China, I got this English language news channel. They would have these commercials with Chinese Muslims, the Uyghurs, where they would be like, "Hello, I am Mo Chen, I used to be a terrorist. But now I am a baker." These were people coming out of the re-education schools. I'm pretty sure if they were actual terrorists, they would be ground up and spread over a field somewhere. I grew up during the Satanic Panic in the late 80s and 90s. According to the preacher, if kids liked something, it was satanic. The Simpsons was satanic because Bart encouraged us to disobey our parents, and the Hang Ten hand sign was the sign of the beast. Any music that wasn't church hymns or country music was satanic because it was worldly and promoted sex. Especially Ozzy and Led Zeppelin, whom my preacher mentioned the demonic message and the alleged backmasking. Nickelodeon was satanic because Legends of the Hidden Temple had an Olmec head that was a graven image of another god. Are You Afraid of the Dark was satanic because it taught kids how to summon demons because of the episode with the glasses that could see shadow people. Professional wrestling was satanic because of the NWO, New World Order, wrestling group, and Sting. Every other denomination that didn't quite agree was branded as satanic. 30 plus years later, and now I'm a non-theistic Satanist, not because of any of the before mentioned satanic stuff but because of my upbringing and hypocrisy of the church. Go figure. Edit. Once my preacher called evolution satanic and said that's why they call it evolution, and myself and several people audibly groaned. He even acknowledged it was cringy but true. Lol. PPL were saying when Biden was sworn in, him and Trump switched bodies and then he would declare something. This was back before January 9th when he got sworn in. They based it off a movie where the characters swapped faces. It was going all over local Facebook groups in our area, people believing it. I cannot remember most of the details, but it was pretty dumb nonetheless. I've seen and heard a few really outrageous ones. The most recent regarding the COVID vaccine. There was some guy flashing signs on a street corner nearby a couple weeks ago. I saw the COVID vaccine will make you sterile, the vaccine will prevent you from getting into heaven, the vaccine will change your child's DNA so they won't be your child anymore, and the vaccine is Bill Gates packed with the devil. Personally, being non-religious, I find it hilarious certain people seem to believe that atheists and non-religious folk are automatically evil and hateful, etc. It boggles the mind. Buy your Thanksgiving turkey now because Biden will, personally, prevent the trucks from shipping them to stores near you. He's starving the working turkey farmers of America purposefully, because that's part of his agenda. I don't pay much attention to politics, but heard this from someone very political lately. Biden isn't really trying to keep us away from Turkey, right? Right? That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.